Everybody, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food, and this is a what could be messy Thursday video because today is the day after Valentine's Day, and many of you may have gotten through all of these days from October with Halloween all the way till now and done the responsible, accountable keto. And maybe something tripped you up yesterday. I don't know. I wasn't there. I was doing my own Valentine's Day, which is, as always, keeping it very, very simple, keeping it keto, and not dwelling on what I can't have. Instead, enjoying what I can have. And what I can have is a wonderful keto dinner with my little honey and enjoy what I have. I think that's very important in life, spiritually, for the whole thing, not just for food, but feeling blessed with what I have instead of, I want this and that, and I don't have it. Where's that going to get me? It's not going to get me to having people want to be around me, for starters, right? So I just listened to two of the most heartfelt keto podcasters. And one of them had the she's new back to keto. She's did it before and was successful, and then fell off track for a while. I don't know how long, but she's back and she's doing it. And she had told her chiropractor that she did not want to know what she weighed. She didn't want to know. And that every time she went to the chiropractor, I guess she goes weekly, that the chiropractor would weigh her and write down her, her progress with the scale and leave it at that. And she was very happy with it working out that way. Well, what happened was, I guess she had her annual, and the doctor in the paperwork had it written on the paperwork she brought home, so she saw it, and she was devastated. But a lot of people had commented. She had, I think, about 54 views maybe, and 17 people had commented, and I was one of them. And most of us, the beauty of being an older woman is you get wisdom as a gift, and you don't get it as an unearned gift, if you know what I'm saying. We get wisdom because we have earned it in some way that we thought we might never get through. Devastating, dumb moments that if we could ever take back and redo, all the hours you spend, awake at night thinking about them, and we can't. We can only move on. Of course, I hear it all the time in 12-step programs because, of course, there's a lot of shame, guilt, remorse that you hear echoed in the halls all the time. And so she's going to carry on. She's doing, I told her, God doesn't make mistakes with things like that. And that, she will move on and find peace with it. She already talked to her bestie and, realized that, and then somebody else wrote in their comments, well, the shocker is over and now you can deal with that. And so anyway, that's, where some of us find ourselves in having to deal with our weight issues, our health issues, and we will survive. This keto community is awesome. Then the other one was in a funk, and a lot of people reached out to her too. And funks. What did I learn in Al-Anon one time? That bad times don't last forever, but don't worry, good times don't either. And so each day we build up a resistance, a resilience in life to be able to weather a lot of the storms. And this woman is a dear, sweet woman. She's been in a funk and she knows she'll pull out of it. But, I felt the same way. I had this big choke up in my 12-step meeting today because, as I looked around the room, appreciating people that I've known. I've been in that hall for 31 years. And, these people that I've known all these years, and they don't know a thing about me. They really don't. And how you people here, you know what I'm eating, you know what I'm drinking, you know that I'm exercising at the rec, you know what my cholesterol level was, you know what I weigh every week. I mean, this is where I'm exposing myself, and that, I guess, maybe that creates an atmosphere for other people to expose themselves to this journey that we're on, and we get to identify, not compare, that's trouble, but to identify with others about things in our lives. And both of these dear, sweet, lovely ladies, they expose that part of themselves that's kind of makes us fragile, doesn't it? And that we aren't always strong, always motivated, always feeling great and at the top of our game. And sometimes we have to go to the landfill with all the big mountain of trash, and we have to crawl up that mountain of trash to feel good about ourselves, to see, let the sun kind of come in a little bit on our funk, or finding out what you really weigh, or, for me with my health, um, I was adopted. I don't know if I ever told any of you this, but I was adopted. And so it's really showing up these days with my osteoporosis and my bone density and cholesterol, sitting there in front of the doctor and realizing, that, well, we don't have a history of you because you're adopted. So we don't know if this cholesterol is from inherited, and if your bone density is something your mother would have had, and if your, what's the other thing? It'll come to me in a sec. See, I got pores up here too, along with my osteoporosis. And so, being adopted, I don't have history to rely on for the health issues that can happen. And so maybe that's my little bit of a choking up, being there in my 12-step meeting today, realizing that nobody in that room knows me. Greg doesn't even know me, although it was cute the other day. He said to me, honey, what's that food program we're on? What is that thing that we do? And I said, it's keto. And he goes, yeah, but what's the other part of it? And I said, it's OMAD, 1 meal a day. And he goes, yeah, that's right. Well, he doesn't practice keto. And his OMAD, his window of eating, begins when we sit down to dinner, but it continues long after I've stopped at that meal at the bistro table, and he continues. But it is basically, his window of eating is probably 1 to 2 hours long every day, and he doesn't eat anything until we eat at, like, usually it's later than 3, except on the nights that I work. But so, sometimes, do you ever feel like you're alone in this journey until you tune into somebody else and can identify with what they're saying about being on keto and struggling with a craving, or struggling with a trigger, or caving, just all of it. And, we have to tune in here to have somebody that we can identify with, or can identify with us and say just the right thing to, like, snap out of it. And because we don't get it, there's only partial, there's only partial identification that I can get. I can get it as being an alcoholic in an AA meeting, because that's what we're talking about there. But the whole rest of me, that's something that's incredibly successful in my life, staying sober from the minute I put down the drink, and not, slamming into the wall. But with food, it's always been different. And maybe some of you can identify. I know some of you here are friends of Bill W. as well. But the food part, our journey, this time it's going to be, I'm joining Weight Watchers, and this time it's going to be different. Well, of course, by then it's a new program. And so you have the initial 8 to 10 pounds loss. And then the rest of it is like, I'm working, I'm struggling, but I'm 8 years older now. Maybe my metabolism has slowed down, and you do it for as long as you can. I know that I stalled at my 137, and I thought, well, that's just what I'm supposed to weigh. It was still a heck of a lot better than what I weighed before I started Weight Watchers, but I just stalled, and the food wasn't working for me anymore. And it was like that moment. And just like, this woman finding out what she weighs, it was my moment when I like picked up Dr. William Davis's book on wheat belly and said, that's me. Oh my. And as some of us know, as we've been successful and become kind of grounded in our keto food program, you go up against the medical profession, and you get that, what I call the vacant cow stare. You've seen cows in a pasture, and they just have that look of sweetness, and this is as good as it gets. I'm eating fresh grass, the sun's out, I'm in a pen, my needs will be taken care of, and I'm happy. And they have that vacant cow stare. They don't have the stress of being a human being, right? And so, so I've been sugar-free and grain-free for about 3+ years now. And I remember going to my pulmonologist because I'm a chronic asthma sufferer. I need an inhaler. I was having bronchitis 6 to 7 times a year. A year. So I'm taking all those antibiotics, all those steroids, all those, special inhalers, emergency inhalers, doing the breathing thing. What was that thing called? Where you put some solution into I'm doing all of this stuff. I give up grains and sugars. I haven't had bronchitis once. I haven't had the flu. My allergies have been seasonal. They come from the pollen, but not from being allergic to grains and continuing to eat them now that I'm not, now that I'm on keto. And I said it to him, and he tilted his head and had the vacant cow stare when I asked him if he'd ever heard of that before. And he said no. And it's like, bless his sweet heart for all that he does. But, I was so glad that my PC a few days ago was not only aware of keto, but wanting to do it herself and willing to hear what I said. Thank goodness. And like somebody said to me when I posted my doctor visit video, they said, maybe another head was turned. And it's like, yes, we need more of this. And so it definitely is the life of the salmon, being a keto person in a world that, like, what's keto? Much less what it does for you, or what it is. I mean, what truly is the food plan. So there's frustration out there. And sometimes just this cloud of like loneliness, like, is anybody else feeling like that? It's like, it really is like being a salmon. And it's like the rest of the world is just content with their standard American diet, content taking a pill to offset side effects of the chronic diseases. It's just amazing. And, for most of us here, we maybe we lose the weight and then we get to the health part. But as Dr. Berg says, get to the health part first, because that's where the healing and the health and the weight loss will come from, right? I didn't get to the healthy place doing the Weight Watchers Smart Points food plan. I doubt that Freestyle is any better, seeing that they allow all these carbs now. And so it's like another battle. Really? Are people really, and watching the ads on TV between the food ads and the drug ads, it's like, we're going to make you fat, and then you can take this thing when you get depressed at your weight. You get depressed at like how you feel because you can't lose the weight because you're still eating the crap that you just saw in the ad previous and the ad after. It's an insane world out there. Keto to me is sanity, as well as clarity, as well as health, as well as maintaining the weight loss. So if you're feeling alone, don't. That's a lot of us here. And this is where we're finding our identification as a keto person on YouTube, making them, watching them, supporting each other, And I guess that's just the way that it is. And instead of looking at what we don't have, which is identification out in the real world that we live in and, work our way through, that it's here. And that's the blessing. At least we have a place to go to. And not even, at least we have a place to, no, thankfully we have a place to come to. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto. It's saving my life a day at a time and identification. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you the next time. Be keto, and I hope that this isn't a messy Thursday. True confessions below. Bye-bye for now.